treasure on the side, Yamashita treasure sign, a bird creature sign or marker. The Japanese Imperial Army doesn't often bury their Yamashita treasures directly underneath a certain sign or marker. It's because on some common cases, they also hide them on the side or certain corner. This is often the case when the treasure deposit is hidden near an old tree, or huge old rock. Based on my actual treasure hunting experience, most treasure deposits hidden on old trees were not directly underneath the tree itself, but somewhere on its side. So which side of the tree do you dig? Of course, Yamashita treasure signs or markers can give you the clue you need. In most cases, these clues can be found on the old tree itself. So try to carefully inspect the body of the old tree for engraved signs or markers. Other than engraved signs or markers, you should also look for embedded foreign objects such as nails, rods, pipes, and etc. But when it comes to old trees, the Japanese Imperial Army soldiers had preferred to use large-size nails as their markers. These large-size nails are actually signs that give directions. In one of our past projects, we discovered this old large mango tree with an embedded old nail that had a length size of about 6 to 8 inches, and about 1 to 1.5 centimeters of thickness. When we found it, only about 2 inches was exposed from the surface of the old tree. Based on my own personal opinion, the old tree had grown much bigger in size, where it engulfed more portion of the old nail. On some cases, the old tree may even entirely engulf the old nail. So on this kind of situation, you can use your metal detector, particularly a pinpointer, in locating such marker. We end up chopping a layered portion of the old tree, where the old nail has been embedded, until half of its size was exposed out. Then, we found out that the old nail was bent in a downward direction. By using a long string of wire, we tied or attached it on the head of the old nail, and then, we pulled the other end of the wire towards the indicated direction of the marker. The direction landed 10 feet away from the east side portion of the old tree, where we finally started our diggings. When it comes to old large rocks, the Japanese Imperial Army soldiers did not use or embedded large nails on them like on old trees. They more commonly used engraved signs or markers. There are several signs used by the Japanese Imperial Army soldiers to indicate the exact location of their treasure deposit on the side, or certain corner. We have the common signs or markers such as arrows, dots, X, and etc. But on this video, I would like to introduce this particular sign or marker. Let's have a look of it on the illustration. There are already some amateur treasure hunters who found this same, or exact figure of this sign, who asked me to interpret its meaning. So here it is. What do you notice on this figure? Is it a kanji symbol? Let's add more flavor and enhancement, to make it more revealing. As you can see, it turned into some kind of a bird creature. You may say that it is probably a duck, swan, or whatever that is similar. But what's most important is its meaning, which means treasure hidden on this side. So which side is it trying to indicate? The answer is simple. What you have to do is to closely observe the head, and then follow the direction of the tip of its beak. Your follow-up question is probably, how about the distance? Let's say, for example, that this sign has been engraved on the surface of one huge old rock. Take note of its meaning, which is, on this side. This refers to the huge old rock itself, where the sign has been engraved. Thus, you do not need to know the distance because it is already understood that right exactly at the edge portion of the old rock being pointed by the sign is the digging spot. But not unless there is another paired sign that specifies the distance. Don't worry, we will cover this at the near-end part of this video. Based on my actual encounters with this particular type of sign, it is commonly paired with other common signs such as dots, hearts, X, asterisk, and etc. If it happens that you discovered this sign paired with a dot, or an X, especially when the dot or X is located right exactly at the tip of the creature's beak as shown on this illustration, then it gives more confirmation that the treasure deposit is hidden on that spot. This gives you a lot more confidence and motivation that the item is present and waiting for you underneath the ground. However, without the presence of the dot or X, there could be a sudden change of direction, which may happen after reaching a certain shallow depth, only to encounter another sign or marker, telling you to move to another different direction, or location. Moreover, I already came across this type of sign a few times already, but it has always been paired with other signs, or markers. One good example is my experience with this sign, paired with multiple dots or holes. I already have a video where I covered the meaning of multiple dots, so I suggest that you should go and watch it as well, after this one, in case you still haven't. The multiple dots paired with this sign actually refer to distance. It had 10 dots arranged on a straight line, going towards the direction pointed by the beak. So 10 feet away, starting from the side of the old huge rock, and moving towards the direction pointed by the beak, it was our digging spot. Overall, encountering this type of sign or marker makes your site quite interesting. And there are 3 reasons about why. 1. This sign confirms that your site or area is positive, with hidden Yamashita treasure deposit. 2. It indicates that the object is hidden near that spot where you found the sign itself. And 3. It clearly gives you the direction and exact location of the hidden item, which is on the side pointed by the sign, as we have already covered on this video. Thus, you may consider yourself lucky if it happens that you found it on your site. Did you enjoy watching my video? If yes, and if you are new to my channel, then you may want to subscribe, like this video, and hit the small notification bell icon. By subscribing and hitting the bell icon, you will receive alerts or notifications about my new published videos. If you want a reading material about treasure hunting, then you may want to visit my blogging website at treasurehunt.club. Thank you very much for watching, and happy treasure hunting.